Judge Napolitano explains Trump's legal grounds to withhold congressional allocations to USAID. So yeah, I mean, he has every right to do this, especially because of the corruption of USAID. So after I play the clip of this, I'm gonna go and we're gonna look at some of the history of corruption when it comes to USAID and how they fund entities that don't really have America's best interests at heart, and they fund a bunch of the leftist pet projects as well. That's why you see a lot of the leftists so upset that this is happening. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to play the clip, and we're going to go back and look at some of this history of corruption. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this one comes from the Daily Caller News Foundation, or the Daily Caller, and they report that Judge Andrew Napolitano appeared on Newsmax Monday and gave what he said was a clear breakdown of President Donald Trump's legal basis to withhold congressional allocations. During an appearance on Carl Higbee Frontline, Napolitano discussed what he said were the legal grounds and responsibilities Trump faces when considering whether to withhold congressional funds. This after Elon Musk said he talked to Trump about shutting down the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, which is a foreign aid agency. Napolitano said that while the president has the authority to isolate funds, this action triggers a mandatory disclosure process. So let's play the clip here. Here we go.
It's allocated by Congress. Can Trump shut down all operations legally?
Well, I mean, yes and no. It would be a lot better if Congress shut it down. I mean, over the weekend, you had the so-called blue on blue. That's where armed police confront each other. So you had U.S. Marshals accompanying Elon Musk's people, and then you have the USAID's own security, where a federal agent undoes this. Can the president not spend the money? Yes, he can take the money and isolate it, but then he must tell Congress he's isolating it. And, excuse me, he must propose to Congress what should be done with that money. Instead, he has 45 days in which to do that. This is a federal statute enacted by Congress telling presidents what to do when they don't want to spend money that Congress orders being spent. But what we are doing, what you are doing, what Elon Musk is doing, is opening up the eyes to the American public of some of the most...
Sorry about the delay. I don't know what happened with with this video here, but we'll continue on. Here we go.
Radical, incredible waste of federal dollars, which give bureaucrats the decision, not the president, not Congress, but bureaucrats, the determination as to how to spend this money.
That is the worst part about this. Because nobody elected these. They're like, here's $100 billion for Project X, and then they just spend it however they want to, like, Burma LGBTQ higher education. All right, so Minnesota Congressman Ilhan Omar freaked out today. Roll this.
This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution and you install yourself as the sole power, that is how dictators are made.
I don't think he's installing himself as the sole power.
No, look, Carl, you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody...
Again, sorry, I don't know what's going on with this video. Sorry about the weird delay video, audio stuff here.
He was more of a stickler on the Constitution than your buddy who's speaking to you now. She obviously is just trying to curry favor with her political supporters.
Her #1 terrorist recruiting district, yeah.
Correct. Yep. The president, as I just indicated, has the power not to spend the money. He's got to isolate it. He's got to put it in an account. He's got to tell Congress he's doing it. And then he's got to propose an alternative use for that money. He knows the law, and he knows how to do that in the next 45 days.
Well, here's a big one. Zelensky gave an interview the other day, and he was like, hey, I know you guys have allegedly given me, $177 billion. 16 billion came from USAID, but he says he only got $75 billion of it. So where's the other $100 billion, Judge, and what are the legal ramifications?
When Senator Rand Paul in the Senate and Congressman Thomas Massie in the House offered legislation to require an inspector general team on the ground in Kyiv
they shot
to
it down.
count every dollar that was coming in and was going out, guess what? They wouldn't even allow a vote on that.
So dumb.
They wouldn't allow a vote on it because they are getting kickbacks. This is money laundering, clear as day. That's what was happening here. And USAID has absolutely no accountability. You'll see when I go over some of the things that some of the corruption stuff that's going on within USAID and how they allocate these funds and stuff like that. But this legal framework, Napolitano said, aims to balance executive discretion with legislative oversight, ensuring transparency in how taxpayer dollars gets managed. The Department of State said Monday that USAID has increasingly diverted from its fundamental goal of promoting American interests abroad, with much of its funding now misaligned with United States' primary national objectives. And that's true. They continue to push this woke stuff and this DEI stuff and the LGBTQ stuff. That they're pushing all of that stuff to other countries. It's crazy. But in response, Trump appointed Secretary of State Marco Rubio as acting administrator to oversee USAID and initiate a comprehensive review of its foreign assistance activities. This review aims to potentially reorganize the agency in line with an American First agenda. See, there's no rules, there are no laws saying that you can't go in and realign things. He's not getting rid of USAID. He's building it in his image, in America First image. But Democrats, in a move against Trump's efforts, tried to access the USAID headquarters on Monday, but were barred from entering the lobby by security officers. So I got this article. It's actually from today, from Fox News. Let's get to this article here. Here we go. The Viper's Nest, USAID accused of corruption, mismanagement long before Trump admin took aim. This is why he took aim at this organization. But the U.S. Agency for International Development fate is hanging in the balance as second Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, is working on an apparent overhaul of the agency. A review of USAID's recent history shows that it repeatedly has been accused of financial mismanagement and corruption long before Donald Trump's second administration, Fox News Digital found. Tech billionaire and DOGE chair Elon Musk has been on a warpath against USAID, which is an independent U.S. agency that was established under the Kennedy administration to administer economic aid to foreign nations, as he leads DOGE mission of cutting government fat and overspending at the federal level. Musk announced in an audio-only message on X overnight on Sunday that, quote, "We're in the process of shutting down USAID," and that Trump reportedly agreed to shutter the agency. He said, with regard to the USAID stuff, I went over it with him in detail, and he agreed that we should shut it down. He said, I actually checked with him a few times and said, are you sure? He added that Trump responded, yes. As of Monday morning, hundreds of USAID employees reported they were locked out of the agency's computer system, and its headquarters in Washington, D.C. was closed on Monday. On X, Musk has railed against the organization as rife with Marxists and is operating as a criminal organization. He said USAID is a criminal organization. Time for it to die. Most posted to X on Sunday. USAID was a viper's nest of radical left Marxists who hate America, he said in another message. Trump repeatedly proposed slashing the nation's foreign aid budget for USAID and the State Department during the first administration, including proposing in his first year in office to slash the budget by 37%, which Congress, of course, rejected. They love spending our money. Quote, with the $20 trillion in debt, the government must learn to tighten its belt, Trump said back in 2017 while advocating for the cuts. The government loves to spend. But let's just get down to some of the corruption that's been going. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I don't want this video super duper long. So let's just go over some of these headlines here. Senator Tom Cotton warns taxpayers money diverted to Hamas. Now this was back in October 2024. Samantha Power sounded an alarm on the likely misuse of more than $1 billion in U.S. humanitarian aid sent to Gaza since October 2023. And then we got Syrian national charged with diverting millions in funding to terrorist organizations. A Syrian national named Mohammed al-Hafian was charged in November 2024 for allegedly diverting more than $9 million in U.S.-funded humanitarian aid to terrorist groups, including the Al-Nusra Front. The Al-Nusra Front, also known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, is a designated terrorist organization with ties to Al-Qaeda, according to the State Department. And you know that USAID's Office of the Inspector General outlined in its press release on Hafia's 12-count indictment that the U.S. had awarded $122 million to the Syrian National NGO. Wow. Former USAID administrator repeatedly met with Soros Foundation. This is why he said they're a Marxist organization. They're pushing George Soros' open border policies and everything else. Samantha Power, her name keeps coming up again and again. The Biden administration's USAID administrator and former U.S. ambassador to the UN under former President Barack Obama tenure was discovered to have repeatedly met with left-wing groups such as George Soros' Open Society Foundation. These are the ones that push for open borders, while serving as the Foreign Aid Agency administrator. Taxpayer funds directed to Chinese entities known for coronavirus research. And this is a really big one. I reported on this years upon years ago on my old channel. The Government Accountability Office, or GAO, published a report in 2023 finding that both USAID and the National Institute of Health directed taxpayer funds to American universities and a nonprofit organization before the money found its way to Chinese groups, including, guess what? The Wuhan Institute of Virology. More of our taxpayer dollars going to hurt us. USAID accused of removing negative findings from Inspector General reports. More corruption there. What else we got? Oh, that's it. I mean, and this is the entity we want to continue funding. Why? So they can continue to fund against our best interests. I mean, this is why it needs to be taken down. This is why Elon Musk is so big on Twitter talking about it needs to die, because of things like that. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.